Flattening a Python list without creating copies of any objects. So I'm writing a game in Python, and a problem I'm trying to solve requires that I turn a 2D list, that is, a list of lists, into a 1D list. I've seen several ways to do this, but I don't know if any of them create copies of any objects held within or just new references. To be honest, the Python standard library confuses me in that it's not always obvious whether objects/sequences are copied or just filled with references. These are the assumptions about my particular situation. We can assume that my 2D list, if represented as a matrix, is perfectly rectangular. It'd be nice if I could have a solution for which the above assumption isn't true, but it's not required at the moment. No need to worry about 3D plus lists. Thanks.
While I can't speak for every way you might have seen, in general no copies will be made due to Python's object semantics. That v doesn't mean some new object equal to v, it simply means v, the object itself.
Probably this piece from the Python documentation can help you understand what Python does. Nobody owns an object, however, you can own a reference to an object. An object's reference count is now defined as the number of owned references to it. The owner of a reference is responsible for calling _decref when the reference is no longer needed. Ownership of a reference can be transferred. There are 3 ways to dispose of an owned reference: pass it on, store it, or call _decref. Forgetting to dispose of an owned reference creates a memory leak. Now, this refers to using Python objects from C code, but, since the interpreter does exactly this, you can understand how objects and references are managed in Python. No one owns an object, so when you put an item in a list, this list does not copy the item, it simply owns a reference. In practice what's happened is that it copies a pointer and increments the reference count and maybe also decrement the other object that was replaced. From the Python point of view, you cannot access objects, but only references to objects. Anything you can put in a variable is actually a reference to an object. Thus, 1, 2, .append 3 will not copy 3, but simply the reference. If you want to copy an object, then you should use the copy module. Or, for some types, call the class with the object as argument. For example, int 1234 creates a copy of 1234. Even though Python stores in a small array the integers from -5 to 256 in small strings, so doing int 42 does not copy 42.
Regarding to your question about copies/references, Python operates with mutable/immutable variables in different ways. For immutable variables, int, float, string, tuples, etc., you will get copies. For mutable, everything else, references. Regarding flattening of Python list, look at a tools module. You can do something like this.
You can do something like this. Does not create copies. Change the 1D array. It won't reflect. For future refactoring, if you want to make sure that it is not copied, import the copy module and use copy.decopyArray instead of just array, and you will be safe.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.